Hi, right now we're going to walk you through the setup and introduce you to AutoCAD for Architecture for our course. Now, for this course, we're going to stick with some simple. This first video is going to focus on the interface and how it functions and how we access our drawings. Now, I've built a template for the class that we use quite often. You can see it here on my recent documents. I actually had it open earlier today when I was preparing for this video. It is CAD Architecture 1 template. It will show you where it's hiding on our drive for our students. For the rest of us, let's take a few minutes and look at what's going on here. So I usually start a drawing by simply going over here and starting a drawing if I want to start from scratch or open a file. Now, in this case, I've got a template. I'm just going to click on the template right here. Doesn't matter which I use. So let's just start right here. Now, the good part about AutoCAD is you can do pretty much any kind of drawing you want. It can be mechanical, architectural, electronic. It can be even artistic. A couple things you need to pay attention to. The center space is our drawing space. Now, you'll notice mine shows a page. It's the white area with the title block already built on it. It's a generic title block. And then I've got tabs down here at the bottom you can see, and they tab through. So if I just do a zoom extents on each of those, basically you can just see that all the title blocks are the same. They just change sheet number down there. But that's our drawing space. Now, the way we think about it is this. The page is almost like a window looking into the model space. It's the easiest way for most students to get it. The page itself is a window into our model. And our model is this first tab down here. So if I click on the model, notice how the page changes. It suddenly goes to gray. Normally that defaults to black. Sometimes it has a grid on it. Like this. That's one of our function keys. I can turn it on and off. I actually don't draw with the grid. I turn mine off immediately. I also turn off my snap. I do turn on my O snaps. I do use my ortholock, and I use my polar snaps as well. So as I'm looking at this, these are the things I'm doing now. One thing you do need to be aware of, there are palettes on the right-hand side and the left-hand side that we can fly out. I've turned my right-hand ones off. I use my left-hand ones quite a bit. These are my layers. These are the pre-built layers in our template. Now, in the layers, we control both the name of the layer. So whatever we're drawing, it's going to show up exactly as we name it what it's going to be. Whether it's on or off, frozen or thawed, locked or unlocked, printable or not, what color it is, it's got both a name, a number, and a swatch. Okay, what kind of line type is attached to it, and what kind of line weight's attached to that. These other things I don't really worry about too much. If I pull that out a little bit, is it on or off in a new window, sheet, etc. So I'm not going to worry about those right now. Like I said, this is the beginning. I can reorder this if I need to. If I want to, I'm going to actually minimize that back. I can also pull up my external reference information here. We'll get to that later on. So I'm just going to minimize my tabs back up for us. Okay. Over here is my drawing area in the white. You can see my cursor floating through it. This is my command prompt down here. Now, AutoCAD's still based in DOS to a certain extent. So when I type, doesn't matter where my cursor's at, it can be clear up here. As soon as I type in an L for a line, it does pop up there, but it also will pop up when I hit the enter key down at the bottom on my command line. So that's kind of for the old school DOS users out there. And then I can draw from here. Now I'm going to hit my escape key, my ESC, and cancel that command. One thing about AutoCAD that beginning drafts people have a hard time with is when drawing, unless you're actually typing text, the space bar acts as an enter key. And in fact, if I hit my enter key, it's going to take me back to whatever the last command I was in was. So if I hit my enter key right now, I will go back to a line. And if I hit it again, it'll actually snap back to wherever the last line it was that I ended. See, so if I had drawn lines, like if I go like this and draw a line, I've got my ortho lock on. I'm going to turn it off by pushing my F8 key. If I draw my lines in, I just draw a couple lines, and I hit my space bar, I cancel the line I'm in. If I hit it again, it goes back to line. I hit it a third time, it attaches to where I was. Okay, that's relatively simple. Now, you'll notice my O snaps, they're my green little boxes you can see showing up, or triangles, or whatever have you, depending on what I'm snapping to. These kind of things are very important and very handy for us, but that's basically what we got here. Now, ribbon bar. Let's do a crossing option, window option here. Our ribbon bar at the top changes depending on which one of the pull-down menus I've selected. The ribbon just is there as our interface. I usually spend most of my time at home because I am a DOS user or old school DOS user, so pretty much everything I draw I use keyboard commands for. Also opposite the ribbon bar down here at the very bottom, we have our tabs for our different sheets we've made. We also have our interface options down here. So I've got my functions down here. Now this actually shows anode objects, my cursor snap, etc. So here's my ortho lock right here. I can do the same thing by hitting the F8 button. Here's my polar snap, F10. Where's my object snap? It should be down here too. My scales here. All those things. There's my F11 for referencing snap. You get the picture. So yeah, there's my ortho and isometrics. So as I'm doing that, that's great. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of, and this program does do three-dimensional. Don't mess with it as a beginner. You have to keep track of your world orientation according to your UCS. Now, your UCS is marked right here. That's your user coordinate system. It can change depending on what you want. It starts out with a standard rectangular system, but as you tweak it, you can end up all over the place. In fact, this right here, just like in Inventor or say Revit, this is our view cube or orientation cube. It can rotate us around and we can end up with all kinds of things. So like if I draw a rectangle right here, there's my rectangle. If I hit my view cube, watch what happens to it right here. It goes into an isometric view. Actually, it's a three-dimensional view. I can now take that and stretch it up. For beginners, this gets very difficult because we have to know where our reference planes are and things like that. So for a beginner, and since most drawings are still two-dimensional, don't mess with it. Okay? We'll talk about a lot about commands as we get going, but for right now, that's our interface. Walk it around a couple of times, play with it, draw some shapes. If you're not sure what the shape is, you can hover over it, and it'll usually tell you what will do it. For the most part, it's not that difficult. I want a circle, it's C, and I pick my beginning point, and I drag it out, and I can tell it a distance right now, or I can just click. I want a polygon. I'm just going to type in POL for polygon. How many sides? Let's try like 8. Enter. And I start a center point, start to drag out. Oh, inscribed or circumscribed. I don't care right now. Start to drag out. There's my polygon, 8 sides. Okay. So as we're working, that's how we're working with this. So take a few minutes, get comfortable with the interface, and we'll get back to you. Thank you.